Hello, fellow preppers, everybody, YouTube, 'tis I, the Rumpled One. I'd like to talk about responsibility. I'm still reading this book, Sanity, Insanity, and Common Sense. It's a psychology book. I've been taking some notes. Very interesting what they have to say. I'd like to read just a few pages here. Let's start with page 42. When an individual does not recognize that realities are thought created, that person will experience the reality of what they think, regardless of how untrue, negative, or unpleasant that reality may be. Without the recognition that realities are formed through thought, individuals have the sense that perceptions, feelings, and behaviors are being thrust upon them from some outside source. Without the knowledge of the nature and function of thought, people have no sense of choice or responsibility of what they see, what they feel, or how they act. In other words, they feel at the mercy of the reality that they are creating. However, that individual is less at the mercy of their thought system when they realize how a personal reality is produced and maintained. That realization is a function of that individual's level of consciousness. Ponder that for a minute. See, what they're saying is that basically, like the movie The Matrix, the mind makes it real. So if you don't realize that it's your thoughts that are creating what you see, feel, experience, then the Matrix has you. Now let's slip over to page 44. When people are caught in lower levels of consciousness, they will defend their separate reality even though it costs them their feelings of well-being and peace of mind. We give up our mental health when we as individuals, fields of study, or cultures take our thoughts so seriously that we are willing to fight for them. In lower levels of conscious understanding, our thinking tells us that it makes sense to fight. At lower levels of psychological functioning, we try in vain to find peace by imposing our beliefs on others. In lower levels of consciousness, it seems to make sense to sacrifice mental health for mental illness, to sacrifice goodwill for ill will, to sacrifice sanity for insanity. Ponder that. Remember what my friend Father Mike said about when one individual or group tries to impose their will on another group or individual? Well, right here in the book. At lower levels of psychological functioning, we try in vain to find peace by imposing our beliefs on others. I mean, once again, this sounds just like the Matrix, that the people are so wrapped up in the system that they're willing to fight and die for the system that enslaves them. Pretty interesting, huh? I think this book was first written, I believe it said 1980, yeah, copyright 1980, 1982, and 1987. So, you see, this information's been around for decades. But people are out there still walking around, basically caught in the Matrix, asleep and not realizing what they're doing to themselves because they're failing to take responsibility. I'd like to read one more section. Page 118, in the middle of the last paragraph. True responsibility becomes a fact as individuals realize that the world is not what is really affecting them, but that they are, in fact, shaping their own experience in life through their own thinking. This is the beginning of wisdom, common sense, and mental health. See, in fact, shaping their own experience in life through their own thinking. I forget, one of the great philosophers, as a man thinketh. But responsibility, in other words, you have to take responsibility for your own thoughts and your actions. And unfortunately, our government doesn't see it that way. Once again, nanny state. Mommy and daddy want to take care of us all. You know, they don't want us to fall down and skin our knees. They don't want us to go hungry. But as I pointed out before, and others have pointed out, you know, the government sends mixed messages. Don't feed the animals because then you'll make them dependent. Then they can't get food for themselves. But then they hand out food stamps to, what's it, 43 million people? Really? You don't see the hypocrisy, the lunacy. You see, this book is telling you that you can't blame others because you have to take responsibility because you are shaping the world. It's your perception. The only problem I have with this book is they talk about separate realities. Whereas, you know, Ringer says there's one reality and then we all perceive it how we choose to. I mean, you can go into a restaurant. Some people might think the food's great and they're having a good time. Other people think it's lousy, the service stinks, it's too slow, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's whatever. Same restaurant. Each person is shaping their own reality or shaping their own perception of reality. You see, I think I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, it's never the thing, it's what you associate with the thing. You know, some people say, I look militant because I'm wearing an army shirt. So their association is army, militant, you know, this color green, militant. Could be wearing the same shirt, but maybe if it was light blue or yellow, they wouldn't think that at all. So it's not really the color or the shirt, it's what they associate with the color and the shirt. And that's how it is with everything. But that's not the problem. It's when, once again, the imposing of will or beliefs by one individual or group on the other, rather than live and let live. Ponder that. You know, once again, it's like being out here in the country and up here for, you know, extended periods of time and a quietness, I can hear my own self think. Or maybe take some quiet time down by the ocean and listen and watch the waves and ponder things that I've thought and ponder things that I've read. Just take some time out. And then, once again, it's my own thoughts. It's my own perception of reality. Basically, it's just my opinion. It's neither right nor wrong. It's just how I see things. The difference is I don't try to impose my will and beliefs on other people. I might share my beliefs. Some of you like them, some of you don't. And it's okay. You make the comments. I read them. Sometimes I reply. I appreciate your comments. You guys take the time out to watch and listen to what I have to say. But some people don't put me up on a pedestal. I mean, I'm just a regular person. I might do a lot of things, and maybe I'm good at a few things and not so good at other things, but you know, I'm not putting myself out as a role model per se. All I do is share things that I do and share things that I know with other people, you know, with the intention that maybe somebody can learn something and use it, maybe take it to the next level. Maybe it might make somebody's life a little easier. You know, that's my intent. But it's not to impose my will or beliefs on others, like the government does. And it's just really interesting that almost everything they say is the truth seems to be opposite of what they present. I mean, Obama doesn't seem to want to take responsibility for anything negative. He wants to take responsibility of things perceived as positive, like getting rid of bin Laden, which some people think he was gotten rid of a long time ago anyway, but that's a whole different issue. But, you know, he wants to put the responsibility on Bush after 3.5 years. I like what somebody put out on Facebook. They said, if Obama wins again, look at the mess he's inheriting from himself. $16 trillion in debt we are. 16 trillion. That's a lot of money. Do you ever wonder where all that money's coming from and exactly where it's going? Kind of off topic. But responsibility. Basically, don't blame others for how you think or how you feel or what's going on in your life. Take responsibility, 100% responsibility for everything that happens and doesn't happen to you. Just don't look to blame somebody else or the system. Because when you take responsibility 100% of the time, that's when you gain your personal power. That's why when people, you know, take shots at me, verbal, you know, the verbal abuse I get on some of the forums, like the trading forums, I'm still standing strong. And that really bothers them. You know, sometimes, every now and then somebody will put something negative in one of these prepper videos or political commentaries, but I'm still standing strong. Because they can't make me mad. They can't tick me off. That's my choice. I choose to laugh. I choose to thank them. It's like, hey, thanks for your opinion. Appreciate you watching and listening. You know, some people go out of their way. They'll come up with a new nickname, and their very first post is something negative and derogatory towards me on some of the trading forums. You know, that's an honor in a way, that they feel so compelled to respond to me, even if it's negative. I must be doing something right if it gets to them that badly. Because usually if you find yourself in a situation where you're really responding negatively, it's like this book, that means you're at a lower level of consciousness. But usually what that indicates is that there's something for you to learn. Ponder that. So anytime you find yourself in a situation that you're really hating it, or you're really upset, and you're making these choices to feel that way, try and hit the pause button, take a time out, step back, and figure out what's the reason you're reacting that way. And you're going to learn something. You might learn something about the situation, or you might learn something about yourself, something about how you're thinking, what's triggering these emotions and reactions. You know thyself. And then maybe you'll learn to laugh and, like my little sign says, not take life so seriously, because nobody gets out of it alive anyway. Might take and alleviate stress, because stress is all self-induced anyway. You know, stressful situations, no, it's you choose to be stressed by them. You know, some people are laid back. Doesn't mean they don't care. Doesn't mean that they're not concerned. Just means they don't react with stress and wig out. You know, if something happens, they don't get all upset about it. They say, okay, well, it happened. What do I do next? Got to take care of business. You know, you get to wake up and your tire's flat or the battery's dead. No reason to get PO'd. You got to take action anyway, so just instead of wasting energy being upset, just take action. Get to it. I mean, of course, it's human to go, oh, dang it. But, get over it. Get over it quickly. Laugh and move on. Once again, responsibility. It's all on you. It's all on you. Accept the responsibility. It's yours. Once again, the book I'm reading, Sanity, Insanity, and Common Sense. See if your library has it. I highly recommend it. I'm almost done. Got a few more pages to read. Might even read some after I get done here. So, responsibility. Over the next few days, when you're out in public, listening, watching TV, listening to radio, you see how many people are taking responsibility for what they're creating, or if they're pointing the finger at somebody else. Of course, if you watch the presidential campaigns, you know it's a bunch of finger pointing. So, those don't count. So I guess I've given you something to ponder, something to do. Once again, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. And I appreciate you guys subscribing. If you haven't, go right ahead and leave your comments. Let me know what you think about all this. Until next time.